Hey everyone, it's Laura here from makingcardsystem.com, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to do some masking in Copic coloring using the Jungle Fever stamp set by Create a Smile Stamps. So I'm going to start out by stamping the bird onto some Simon's Stamp Ultra Heavyweight white cardstock using Memento Tuxedo black ink. And then I am going to be doing some masking. So I stamped that image onto some Eclipse masking paper and I cut that out using my scissors. And as you can see, I already did quite a lot of masking with that mask, but you can use that over and over again until it doesn't stick anymore. So I'm going to add that mask onto that paper, and then I'm going to be stamping the flower from the Jungle Fever stamp set. And I recommend to stamp a couple of flowers first, because otherwise, you won't be really able to see all of the flowers you stamped already, and then you will be a little bit confused when you want to do the Copic coloring, because I did it like that the first time, but then I noticed that it's easier to do it this way. So I'm just going to stamp 3 flowers first, and then I'm going to Copic color all of those images already. So I removed the mask, and I'm going to color that beak from the bird using YR15 and then YR18 to do some shading. So I added YR15 as a base, and then I added some YR18 to add some shading, and then I'm just blending that with the lightest color. Then for the actual bird, I am going to use RV0000, and then I am going to add some RV11, and I'm kind of going to add that, I'm just going to add like some stripes of or some flicks of ink just to make it look like the bird looks really fluffy and soft. And then I'm just going to blend that light color together, the darkest color I mean, using the lightest color. So I'm just blending that together. Then for the stamens of that flower, I'm going to use Y13 and Y19. So I'm going to use the Y13 first, and then I'm going to add a tiny little bit of shading using Y19. Then for the stamps, I am going to use YG23 and YG17. So I'm going to add the lightest color first and then some shading using YG17. So this is just a really easy way of Copic coloring, because I am just using 2 colors for each part of the images. So it's just really easy. And then I'm going to be coloring those flowers. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to color those flowers, and the first way is to just use 2 colors, and I am using RV06 first, and this will look like a really bright and almost of a neon pink when you first add it, but when it dries it becomes more kind of just like a regular bright pink color. So I'm going to add some shading using RV09, and I'm just going to add that darker color to the edges of the flower and to those little stripes. And then I'm going to blend that together using the lightest color. So here I'm going to do some more stamping. So I'm going to use that mask again from the bird, and it's important to put the mask of the bird first, and then I'm going to put on some masks for those flowers. So I'm going to stamp the flower, and because I have those masks on there, it will look like that flower is behind the other 2 flowers. So you will end up with some really cool dimension, even though this is just one flat layer. So it's just really easy. You could do this even easier and more faster if you would have a mask for each flower. I just used 2 masks today because I was using my last little piece of masking paper. But you could also use a post-it note, I think, but it doesn't really stick that well. I think that like actual masking paper just sticks better to the paper. But you can try it out and you can see if you like it or not. So I couldn't figure out where I needed to add some color for those stamps. So I just took my stamp set, and I'm going to line up that printed image with my stamped image. And then I can just easily check out where I need to add the color. So I'm also going to do that for the flower over there, because it was just a little bit of a busy background and couldn't really figure out where I had to color, and I really wanted to do it correctly because otherwise I would have to start all over again. So as I mentioned before, I was going to show you 2 ways to color these flowers. And for this flower, for the other 3 flowers, I am going to use 3 different Copic markers. So first I added a little bit of red in the center of that image. And then I am going to blend that out using R24. So I am going to put the tip of my brush marker on that dark red. And I'm just going to flick my marker so I can just blend that color really easily. And then I'm going to blend that R24 using the R22 color. So just like that, bring that all the way up to the edges so I have a nice and colored flower. And you can always go back in with your darker markers if you want to add some more dimension or some more color. So I'm just going to do the same for those 2 other flowers, and you could use any kind of color of Copic markers for this technique. So then I wanted to add some more sparkle, so I am using my clear wink of Stella pen to add some glitter to all of those flowers. Next, I am going to pick out a sentiment from the Jungle Fever stamp set. So as you can see, there are quite a few of sentiments in this stamp set, so you can really match the sentiment with your image. I am going to stamp the greeting using my favorite Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I stamped "You Color My World." Then I wanted to add a little bit of an extra pop of color on the card, so I am using some pattern paper from the Sending Sunshine paper pad by Create a Smile Stamps, and I really like this pattern paper because the quality of it is just really awesome. It is thicker than other pattern paper, and it also feels softer. So I just really love it, and it's also very heavyweight. So it's just a really good pattern paper. I am adding some extra glitter using Diamond Stickles by Ranger. And I'm also going to be adhering some sequins from the Ton. I am using my EK Success tweezers for that and some glossy accents. So that finishes up the card for this video. This is my first video as a guest artist for Create a Smile Stamps. I am very happy to be a guest designer this month. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back very soon. Bye bye!